Hello, YouTube. Overhead day, my favourite day. So, two main things to do today, plus accessories, which is overhead log, which will be push press. So it's not floor to overhead; it's just floor to overhead once, rack position, and then push press for 6 to 8 reps, followed by a back offset, followed by axle strict, and then it's back offset. No increases of weight this week. I'm going to stay the same because I want to hit the full reps before I go up. But to be honest, it's doing a lot and it's not going to need, I don't need to keep increasing it because I'm working at about 81 kilos on the log. The actual log on the day as part of the medley is 90. So I've done 90. In fact, I've done 90 for a PB of 5, floor to overhead as well. So again, we've got time, lots of time to work on. The only thing with my overhead at the moment is barbell, but that's going to increase. And I think I've got a 90 kilo floor to overhead barbell as part of the medley on Saturday. Just on my air bike, which is over here. For those who didn't know, air bike, I won. So I won one of these Instagram competitions. Just woke up one morning, looked at my messages, and I had a message from Body Power telling me that I'd won the air bike, which worth a good amount of money, the pro version as well. And then also a dumbbell rack, which is down here, and then a set of dumbbells to go with it. They're actually 5, 10, 15, and 20. So I will be brutally honest, not to sound like that person, but they're not heavy enough for me, but they are good for other people who will use this. And then also a tactical backpack, which I've given to my partner because I already had a MiraFit one, which I already know I've already set up and like. So yeah, that's gone to my partner. So she's got that. Other than that, I'm going to get started. Obviously, I'm already sweating. Going to do a little bit of a warm up. I'm not going to show you my warm up because it's boring. Get myself set up, get myself ready to go. Knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, everything, and then do log. So as you can see, it's not tall enough in here with me. So log and any overhead for me will be done outside. There are some people who sort of come up to here on me. They'll probably be able to do overhead in here, but I'm afraid, alas, I've got to do outside. Now, luckily, it stopped raining, but that doesn't ever normally stop me. The worst I've done is training in a thunderstorm, which is probably a bit mad when you've got metal logs and stuff, but we have to get these things done, don't we? So I will check back in once I've done log. So before I do log, I'm going to give a little, well, I'm not going to say tips because in the end, it's up to you what you do. Whenever I do most things nowadays, because I am 39, almost 40 next year, and obviously longevity, I want to protect my body. So I will always wear elbow sleeves. So I have the purple, I think they're Aspire SBD range, just because I'll be brutally honest, a lot of the other ones I've had give me rashes when I sweat, because I'm not somebody who doesn't sweat to the minimal amount. I sweat a lot. I've just been sweating doing the warm up. Obviously I have just done the air bike. I also wear the knee sleeves now doing log as well, because why not? In the long run, I appreciate there are people out there who'll go, oh, wow, knee sleeves and elbow sleeves, they'll add loads of stuff. They don't, they're there to protect me. Yes, they can assist you sometimes when you're trying to really push through on something, but they aren't going to add 50 kilos to anything. The only thing that could potentially add is a suit when you're deadlifting, but even then, not everybody that happens for. That doesn't happen for everybody. I've got the orange range Forge from SBD as well, so I got both sets in the end because this is for the gym and they are for events day, because they're rank, because they've got tacky all over them, and obviously going to the gym with shitloads of tacky on myself is not very pleasant. Although I do have the wrist wraps. You can see I've actually got both sets because there's a strict set and then there's a sort of more pliable set. So I wear the pliable set for when I'm obviously doing floor to overhead. And then I tend to wear the strict set for, normal gym stuff. My tier, which I think you can see, shoes. All of this stuff I've built up over the years. I've started with lots of other ranges of stuff. So all I would say is you don't need to go out and buy the best stuff straight away, or what is perceived to be the best stuff. Go out and buy, what you need and what you can afford, because of course it can get quite expensive. Get it secondhand, vintage, eBay, whatever it is. There's plenty of stuff around. People are always selling things because people get bigger, smaller, whatever it is, or they just quit and they don't need it. Same with the equipment. So do what you absolutely, bit of sweat on my face, need to do to be. But yes, there are benefits to not wear stuff, of course, at times, particularly things like deadlift. But I don't do any of that because in the end, when it comes to competition, I want to be used to what I'm wearing. In fact, I spent a long time walking around with my belt done up because I'm used to having my belt done up all the time. I took a long time, even though I used to be a lot bigger. You know, I still have a bit of a belly, but I used to be much bigger, about 30, 40 kilos heavier. And getting down to deadlifts used to be difficult. So I pushed and pushed and pushed myself, even with a bigger belly, to get myself so I could bend in the middle to deadlift, so I didn't have to take a knee or get my legs stretched apart and things like that, because it made sure I was used to it so I could do things much quicker. Obviously now I'm a bit smaller, it's a lot easier. It's tough because when you are somebody who's a bit bigger, you do carry a little bit more timber around the middle, which is quite common in strongman. Sometimes it puts a lot of pressure, especially when you've got a belt on, puts pressure on, but it's worth getting used to. Anyway, I'm going to go and do log and then I will check back in. Log is done. There he is. So I've got Saxon log, 13 inches, weighs 50 kilos. Beautiful log. It's quite slippy at times. So in a lot of cases, chalk is very much needed. I didn't wear any chalk today, but didn't need it. 81.47, which was awesome, and a much better 7 than last week. And then 71.11, which is awesome. So next week, probably look at increasing the back off slightly, but keeping the top set the same because I want 8 before I move on, and I want 8 good reps. 8 almost was there. You'll see at the end of the video, there's a slight pause where I am setting up for the 8th, but I decided not to. I'm quite banged up after yesterday. So it was a bit like, I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry. So I've got Axel next. Axel is my strict press. So getting sweat in the eye because I've got an Axel in the medley. So that's my strict press, which a little bit lighter. Sorry about the ceiling. A little bit lighter, so a little bit more tough because, of course, it's a strict press. Hoping to try and get 7 reps on the top set today, but we'll see how it goes. We're working about 73, so not a million miles behind my log. I kind of strict press somewhere between 70 and 80. I can strict press 80, but it wouldn't be for many, so we're not working that high at the moment. This is Axel more than log. And then I have done Axel for 3 push presses at 100. Obviously the jerk I've done for 105, but yeah, I'm really pleased. Like overhead just progresses all the time, really gets better and better. You know, I can see myself not being a million miles away from 100 kilo log, definitely, maybe even 105, eventually 110, because it's my strongest, you know, and it's a good place to be because, again, I think I've explained this before, but I've been to events where I've been in the bottom part of the pack or the mid pack, but I've come in the top part or in the mid pack when I've been the bottom when it comes to overhead. So it's a really good place to be because not everyone's good at overhead. Lots of people just do the bare minimum, i.e. get a couple of reps, and that gets you somewhere. You know, I've seen competitions where people do 1 rep and they've come in mid pack because there are other people who fail. So it's absolutely worth being able to get there. But the more you can do with it, I actually train in my off season. I actually train it twice a week. So I do a sort of push press one, and then I do like a strict press session. It's a slightly shorter session, but it's pretty tough. And that's how how it's balanced to make sure that actually I really progress during off season. So yeah, there we go. Right, I'm going to get on with that. That is a wrap. I've still got my accessories to do, but I've got to go to the gym to do that because I don't have dumbbells heavy enough at the moment, or anything else. I don't have a dip machine or anything, so I've still got that to do. But Axel, really, really pleased. It was quite tough, but I did get the 7th rep on the top set, only 10 on the second set. But to be honest, by then I'd already done 18 reps on log and another 7 on the strict Axel. So I'm not going to worry too much about only getting 10. So, I've still got other stuff I need to do. But yeah, so really, really, really pleased. Really good session in those respects. I've still got overhead dumbbells to do with no back. I've then got a dip machine to do, tricep pull downs, and that is me done for today. And then the next session will be deadlifts on Thursday. I have to be wary about how I run my sessions together. I can kind of run legs yesterday and today, but I like to keep deadlifts a bit ring fenced, so I have a day either side because it's going to be a big one. We're aiming for 200 times 5, which is not set up for 200, but it's here. So that's going to be very, very exciting with my straw hat flag behind. So yeah, going to be really, really, really good to get more deadlifts done. As I say, conventionals come back quite easily. So it's just about getting through those reps really, really, really well. So yeah, there's not much else for me to say. A couple of little things again. I didn't mention this earlier, but do try and wear lifters when you're doing overhead press. It's really worthwhile. It stops the movement of your shoes, as it were. I find that sometimes that if I'm wearing normal shoes, I'm a little less balanced, whereas the lifters allow me to have a bit more balance. You can probably hear a plane going over. There's quite a few at the moment. So yeah, but otherwise, whatever you're doing the next couple of days, enjoy. I'll post this a little bit later on. If you have come to the end, if you have even watched it, please post Juggernaut in there. If not, go, what are you doing with your day? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, hopefully have a good week, and yeah, look forward to the next time.